Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is FC Steezy. I'm going to be stepping away from the video games in a sense today, meaning that this isn't roughly a Skyrim or a Diablo 3 video or whatever other video game I'd be showing you. This is actually a video game that I've been developing for about 3 days, no, a few days now. And so this is just, I'm going to be doing this as a kind of like a trilogy series. I'm going to be doing first in prototyping, which is really what it's in right now. Not even prototyping, it's just kind of like a basic game outline or structure. Foundation, really. That's a nice word for it. And the next video I'll be a little more developed with it, and hopefully in the third video I'll be finished. But what I really need, since this is my first time doing this, is just some constructive criticism. Leave a comment, tell me how it was. I'll save that till the end though, just so you know what you're talking about. So let's get to it. This is pretty much the basic outline of the game. I'll run the game right now. This is written in Java. I use the TextPad interior development environment. I'll go into that a little more in a bit. So pretty much this is your basic character. It rotates according to your mouse, caps at 66 FPS. This is your basic AI. I'm going to be, of course, developing on that, different AIs. It doesn't actually shoot right now. I'll be implementing that in my next update or whatever. So you'll be running around the map, pretty much bouncing off the walls however you want to. It kind of has a cute little velocity system, so when you stop moving, it slows down. And you'll be shooting at these guys trying to chase you down, and you'll be getting new weapons, new guns. There are games like this out there. I'm not saying that I made this. I did make this game, but I didn't create the idea. That's what I'm trying to get at. So let's just take a look at the code. Hopefully you find this cool. They all your basic shapes or characters all inherit this main sprite class, which contains their basic variables: your x, your y, your x velocities, your rotation, your shape, if you're alive or not. That's a boolean, so true or false if you're alive or not. Let's get into the chaser AI. This is the purple guy that was following me around the map. So he pretty much takes in my X position of the player, the Y position of the player. The side scroll value, I'll be getting into that a bit later. Again, this is TextPad, so it really has really basic, it's a pretty basic interior development environment. So you type something, it's not like an interpreter that it knows that it's an error right now. You have to compile it at the end, and it doesn't really help you out with the syntax. So it kind of helps you learn a bit more, to be honest. I kind of like that. It's really raw. That's a good word to describe it. So this AI, this CPU, has its own draw method, which gets called when it needs to render. It has its own update method, which updates where it's going to, what angle it should be facing, that kind of stuff. Some cute little trig right there. Not really trig. I don't know what that is. Calculus. You learn that in pre-calc. So yep, it has your shape, that kind of stuff. Your constructor, which kind of sets its x and y velocity at the start, that kind of stuff, and it of course inherits the sprite class. Your player shooter, which is your basic guy that aims around, he takes in your x or y position just of the mouse, just so he knows where to aim. Side scrolling values again, I'll get into that later. He kind of has the basic outline of the same as the chaser AI in that he has a draw method which gets called from the main. This I haven't really set up yet. I'm going to be setting up so he has a maximum velocity at which he can actually rotate the gun, just so it's not perfect and it's a little slower than what you hoped it to be, just to give a little element of like toughness. I can change that around though, seeing how I'll implement it, see how it is, make my decision then. I'll try and keep you guys updated on this again. If you want to see something in the next update, leave a comment. If you really want me to see it and I might have missed it as a comment, send me a PM. I'll try my best to get back to comments though. If you leave a question or whatever, please do. Constructive criticism again is loved. This is probably going to be a pretty sketchy video just because it's my first time ever doing something like this. Anyway, this is your main game loop, your main game class, which is an applet, and it's runnable. It takes in all those. Sorry, I sometimes forget my words. This caps your FPS and sends it back. I'll show you that in a bit. double buffer variables, that kind of stuff is in here. Your initiation, it kind of sets up the whole game. Your resets, that'll be like when you die, it might reset you. I'm not sure how exactly I'll do lives. Maybe I'll just do it so like if a guy runs into you, you lose a life, he dies, that kind of stuff. Or I might do it so that everybody resets to their starting positions, and you go from there. That's something I need feedback on. Double buffer method. This is your render method, which gets called from the game loop. That's kind of cute. I haven't commented. I need to comment better. I try to keep my stuff pretty. I should probably change it around, but I try to keep it fairly logical and easy to read. Just so if anybody picked up this game, you could see. If you want this code, I could definitely send it over to you. Send me a PM and I'll give you a link to it in a jar file or something. No, that's probably too sketchy. I'll paste bucket it or something that you're not going to get like a Trojan from or something. Not that I would do that, but just keep it all PG or whatever. So game loop, this calls this update method, which is just an organization thing. I could put it in there, but I try to keep it clean. So this updates your players. Remember, they all have these update methods. So it sends over those variables. Your side-scrolling X, side-scrolling Y, side-scrolling Y, side-scrolling X is somewhere, whatever. Wham. That kind of controls the basic feel of the game, making it kind of feel like it's a bigger environment than your screen. So you're kind of like moving around the map. It's kind of contorting to where you move to. It gives it a cute feel. Definitely like an immersion factor. And this also has your input. It takes in your input, does accordingly, sets it. I use booleans just so like if the player's pushing down multiple keys, it doesn't mess up. So and when you release the key, it sets it to false just so it knows to stop moving. So that's the basic outline of the game. If you have any questions, please leave them below or send me a PM, personal message. I shouldn't abbreviate my talking. It just sounds weird. Again, this is in Java. You need the SDK if you want to ever develop Java, if this is your first time ever seeing this kind of stuff. So again, this is part 1 of 3 parts hopefully. And then furthermore, this applet, I'll get back into the applet. This is an applet, but then I pack it into a JFrame just because applets kind of have like some security precautions. They can't actually save to your computer, so they can't save text files. It also can't it just doesn't have as many permissions as JFrames. Like it can read files, but it can't save them again. So I pack it into a JFrame just so it can do that kind of stuff right there. And then that also sets it so you can't like adjust the frame too much. And it just has some more variables which I can mess around with. Anyway, I hope this made sense to you. Again, this is my first time. Sorry if it was sketchy. Comment, rate, subscribe. Please leave some constructive criticism. This is FC Steezy. Peace out.